What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Mark Zalmanoff here, your favorite friendly neighborhood fitness ninja, with my homie Jonathan Loudermilk. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. What's good, baby?
So we're in Texas, by the way, and I live in Texas for many reasons, but one is because I'd much rather sweat than shiver, and it is fucking cold outside right now. And I don't know if you saw the forecast, like in a few days from now. By the way, if you're listening to this, it's February of 2021. In a few days, they're predicting single digit temps. And I've lived here the majority of my 41 years of existence, and I don't remember ever seeing single digit temps.
Yeah.
I've seen wind chill, but not temps. And honestly, it's just rude.
So if you are not a firm believer of how our bodies adapt to literally what we put it in, I'm going to share a case in point here. So I grew up in Virginia, East Coast. Like it actually gets cold over there, like 20, 30s. Like here, cold's like 40, 50. Well, anyway, I've been here 7 years, and my body has become accustomed to Texas weather. So like when it gets 50, like it feels like it used to be like 20 or 30 degrees back in Virginia during the winter season. So it's funny whenever my brother flies down here, I see him once a month. He's up in New Hampshire. He's like, dude, it ain't cold down here. Like you go up New Hampshire and that's cold, but just over these last 7 years, like my body's adjusted to the weather out here. So whenever it does, man, dude, I totally get it.
Yeah, it's rude. Anyway, so we got a great topic for you guys today, but before we get into that, it's story time. We need like some little sound or something. That's gonna sound really great later on.
Well, we're keeping the streak alive. I got another dick story for you guys today. Yeah, you guys are going to start thinking like, man, John, why you got so many dick stories? It just happens to me. I don't know why this stuff happens. It just happens. Okay. So, and the cool part is going into the theme of this episode where we're going to talk about ownership. This actually ties in. So we're talking about dicks and ownership today. It's going to be fantastic. So I want to take you back into time. And this is back in my fitness manager days. And I took over this club, really large gym, pretty large company. And it was really interesting too, because the way they had things set up, the gym was separate than the personal training department. So the personal training department was a subcontracted company that did all the training services, and they paid, a pretty penny each month to take up that space. And it was kind of like a symbiotic relationship where I was used to everything underneath one roof, right?
Right.
And the other part of this, the other twist, is the way this company ran their personal training department is they had salespeople and then they had trainers, right? And the trainers weren't actually employees, they were actually subcontractors. So the only employees were the actual salespeople that I managed that reported directly to me. And then we had a head trainer that would help manage the subcontractors, right? And if you're not familiar with the difference of an employee versus a contractor, there's a different way you have to go about things. Because a contractor can go, hey, that's cool. Fuck you, I'm out, right? Or, hey, I don't really want to do it that way. And you legally can't make me do it that way. So there's a lot of nuances. So this has really been one of the first tests of, all right, Jonathan, you got to step up as a leader because I can't just tell you what to do. I got to influence you to do it. So going in the story, there's one trainer I will never forget. And for name protection purposes, we're going to call him Brad. Sounds like actually Brad. So if you're Brad, I ain't talking about you. This is a different person. Anyway, this guy was a young buck in his 20s, super ripped. Used to come in wearing shades during his workouts, didn't really wear like the right shirt. He had one of the old shirts. Like this guy was like walking to the beat of his own drum, if you know what I'm saying. And he also really liked to wear the skin tight, like yoga pants. Like this is when that was first becoming the thing where, when I started, man, you wore baggy pants. You didn't wear stuff showing your lower half of your body. And now it's cool all of a sudden. Well, anyway, he had these really tight pants and they accentuated a certain part on the front part of his body.
His quads? Are you talking about his quads?
It was about as big as one of his quads, I'll tell you that. This thing was massive. Like, I'm pretty sure he needed a leash for that thing. Like, it was ridiculous, Mark. Like you couldn't help but see it. It was like an anaconda. Anyway, he's wearing this, and like for the longest time, I'm like, I got bigger fish to fry than to talk to this guy about this stuff. So I'm tackling, God knows, all the other fires that I'm putting out. Just like I'm gonna get to that last, right? Well, anyway, I had members start to come up to me, female members, going that this trainer is making them very uncomfortable due to the attire that he is wearing. And, you know, I remember watching one of his sessions. He was literally like over top of a client on the bench press with that thing staring in their face the whole time. And I had to pull him into the office and have this conversation. And trust me, it was the last conversation I ever wanted to have. It's not an employee, it's contractor. And I had to bring this up in a way where like, man, how do I say this to like, one, not get myself in trouble, but how do I not make this extremely awkward as I'm going through this?
Right,
So
right.
basically had to have the conversation about, hey man, you're making people uncomfortable with the choice of fitness attire that you're wearing. He goes, what do you mean? I go, think you know what I mean, Brad. I go, I'm not gonna lie, man, it's fucking impressive. Like if I was you, I wouldn't wear pants.
Kudos, good sir. Kudos.
Just wouldn't even wear pants, man. Just let that shit hang out. But I go, man, but you make people uncomfortable. Can you put something at least on top of it? Just cover it up a little bit. He goes, okay. Comes back the next day and he has shorts over top of his skin tight like leggings. Well, the shorts are skin tight too, so now it's just like a different color version of it. So now I'm sitting here like, well, fuck, he did what I asked him to do, but he knows what he's doing. He's like, I'm proud of this thing, man. I'm going to show this off. And I'm like, that's impressive, Brad, but you got to put more shorts on there, man. So that was a conversation that I had to have, Mark, once upon a time, many years ago, with a lovely trainer named Brad.
I love it. I love it. Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say there's lots of things to unpack there, but
Right, a lot to unpack. But you know, going into the theme, what we're talking about, like, you know, my regional manager at the time, when I asked him to come down to the club, spend time with me, he goes, I don't want to come. And I was like, I've never heard that before. I said, what do you mean you don't want to come to my club? He goes, the energy sucks there. That's what he told me. I'm like, I've never had a boss tell me that the energy sucked. That's why he didn't want to come visit my club. So I had to fix that stuff, right? As a manager. So it was literally, if it was meant to be, it was up to me. And I had to go through like, how do I influence these subcontracting trainers to like get on board with, you know, things simple like writing down your workouts and committing to showing up on time and just things we take for granted. But it was like everyone was going a different direction because they didn't have anyone like reeling everybody in.
That's rough because the consumer doesn't know any different. You know, you walk into a place and you just assume everyone works there for the company. You have no idea what the structure of it is, and it's not your responsibility as the consumer either. So that's a tough spot to be in. So your managers didn't know there was some big D energy going on in there. See,
well, it's funny because my boss knew. He's like, oh, it's Brad. I'm like, and you've never said anything? He goes, nah. He's like, that. He goes, that thing's amazing, isn't it? It was like a running joke with the management team, but like I'm the guy that had to say something. So I'm like, dude, it has to be addressed. Like now it's impacting like customers and stuff. So obviously, like you said, the perception of the customers, like, dude, I don't know you're contracted and you know that you're not held to a certain standard. So I had to reel all those people in. And fortunately, I was able to do that through some really cool lessons and growth and, you know, really focusing on the leadership side of things and really started with ownership. Like at the end of the day, like my name was on that club. You know, like if you're on that team, like whether you like me or not, like you're a representation of me. So I'm going to put personal time and investment to make sure that you're a good representation of what we're trying to create.
And so what we're going to get into today is embracing the role of being the owner. And this was spurned by, so I get this email like last week. There's a local yoga studio by me and I'm on their email list because I think I've been there once. And they send this email out saying that they're shutting down. You know, we've thought about this a lot and we've gone back and forth and blah, 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 but we've just decided it's, you know, it's time to shut our doors and COVID and blah, 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 right? Well, in the email, the lady that owns it talks about, you know, I'm really passionate about yoga and I really love fitness, but I've just never really liked being the owner of the business. And that stuck with me because I'm like, okay, but you own the business. Like that's your business. You bought it, you invested in it. Obviously, I know where they are. Rent ain't cheap over there. You know, it's in a pretty high traffic retail area. And for those of you who, whether you have brick and mortar or not, if you're not owning the fact that you have to act as an owner of your business, then you will fail, period. And you know, when COVID hit last year and gyms left and right were shutting down and people were losing members, you know, all over the place. Like I thankfully, because of the work that I've done over the years, I didn't really have a concern about that. But it's because I've learned to treat my business like a business. Yes, I'm passionate about fitness. Yes, I love showing up to the gym. But if I was just another trainer or still was just like, well, I just love training and just going to the gym and coaching people, but you know, I don't really like all these other things, I wouldn't have a business right now. And so it kind of baffles me that people still have that mindset. And I know this spans across all kinds of industries, but if you're going to make that leap into entrepreneurship or ownership or whatever you want to call it, you have to understand that there are things that come with that. And like John, like you said about just having that ownership of it, you have to be willing to do the things that the average person doesn't want to do. And honestly, in the fitness industry, like how many jobs are there that you can just show up and train and get paid?
Right. And they pay you like these contractors, which was not very good.
Right. I mean, but there aren't salary positions in our industry. There's like 7 of them and they're all at the Cooper Clinic. And outside of that, you know, and there's the 30, you know, NFL strength and conditioning coaches, but they're fighting for their job every damn day anyway. You know, there's no job security in those roles. So, you know, you have to have ownership of it. And, you know, we talk about sales all the time, and John, you're an expert at the sales side of things. So talk a little bit about how these coaches can embody that salesperson mentality without, you know, everybody's like, well, I don't want to feel salesy. Well, fucking, you got to sell shit if you want to put money on the, you know, put food on.
So for me, it was about control because, and I'm gonna get a little bit deep on you, dude. How I grew up, like as a kid, I didn't have a lot of control and it was very unstable. And I think we've talked about this a couple episodes back or whatever. But so I've always craved control, right? Now, over the years, I've had to learn, you know, can't always push rope, right? It doesn't work in every area. But I'll tell you what, it does work. It damn sure works in business. Having control over the controllables. What are the things I can control? I can't force people to say yes to me from when they buy. I'm not Professor Xavier, even though I may look like the younger version of him, right? I don't have like my new, like I'm gonna make you buy from me, right? But what I can control is how many people I talk to. What I can control is what process am I following to make sure I'm being consistent so I know what I need to improve on in that sales process. Like I can control those things, right? And when you focus on taking ownership over those things, it gives you an immense sense of freedom, especially for us, because we don't have the job security, but what we do have is infinite potential to be able to craft and build our business to whatever heights and levels we want to go to. If you just want to make, you know, 5 or 6 grand a month, that's cool. There's no judgment there, right? But if you want to make 10 and 12 grand a month or 20 and 25, obviously there's going to be a new level or new devil with each level. And you're going to have to own different things as you continue to grow. Just like the story I shared about me getting some subcontractors, I had to step into some different positions and conversations and different things that I never had to own before because I was never forced to. Right. But at the end of the day, if you want to win, you can either be right or you can actually win. Rarely do they go together. Right. And a lot of times people go, well, I want to be right and I want to win. Cool. Try marriage out and see how that fucking works. Because I never win, right? I'm never right, apparently, but I'd rather win. Right. And those of you that are married will understand what I'm saying when it comes to having those conversations and those relationships.
I love it. I love it. You know, the other thing I see a lot of coaches struggle with is the marketing side of things. And, you know, if people don't know what you do, how the hell are they supposed to come work with you? Like it, you know, there's like 2 rules. It's be good at what you do and make sure people know.
Yeah.
And You know, I get it with the Instagram models and showing the abs and the ass and all that stuff, whatever. You know, you're not competing against those people. Like if you're a legit business owner and you're really trying to build something sustainable for the long term, like don't worry about those people. You know, their audience isn't your audience anyway. That's not who you're trying to get.
Right.
But people have to know you exist. I know for a long time that was my problem. Like I sucked at marketing. I didn't know what I was doing. I never reached out for help. I thought I could figure it out on my own. And then I sat around wondering, why the fuck am I still broke? Why am I still, you know, why do I still have the same amount of money that I had last year and the year before and the year before? And when I got really good at the marketing side of how do I put myself out there? How do I show that I'm someone people want to work with? How do I show that I get results from my clients? You know, that's when things started getting really good. And then this weird thing is I had to keep doing it. Oh, imagine that. I couldn't just do it like 5 times and make a post and go, hey, you want to train with me? Look at look at my results that I got. Like nobody gives a shit. What they want to know is, are you going to still be there? You know, and thankfully I've been in this game long enough now that people understand, look, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not, you know, I'm not shutting down. I'm still going to be in business, but that the marketing side, the social media, the posting, like I get it. I know some of it's time consuming. I know some of it's not what you want to do because you got into this to help people, but you can't help people if they don't know you exist.
Yeah. Well, dude, what you just said was, do you want to be right or do you want to win? Being right's like, I want to have tons of clients, but I don't want to have to market or sell.
What?
Like, do you want to be right or do you want to win? Because if you want to win, you're going to do whatever you need to do. But what I'd love to hear from you, man, is like, what were some of the ownership lessons you went through learning the marketing? Like, I know you've hired some people over the years, and I'm sure you did some self-study where we all start watching YouTube videos and like, oh, let me follow this person. So like, talk about that, man.
You know, I think a lot of it goes to hiring a coach. You know, several years ago, I finally hired a business coach to help me work through the things that I couldn't see. Or, you know, there's things that I think we're all resistant to because it's foreign to us. Um, I write a ton. Like I write so much now, but I didn't before. And, you know, I'd write one post a week or send out one email a week or every other week. But I just like training, I had to keep flexing that muscle over and over and over again to get better at it. And once, you know, the other big thing is I used to say in my head, well, I'm not good at that. Like I'm not good at advertising. And I was thinking in like the traditional sense of putting out an ad and getting people, well, you know, I kind of suck at that. Like I'm not, you know, I've never had one that really resonated with people. And so you start saying that enough times to yourself and you believe it. You're like, oh man, you know, I just suck at marketing. You know, I don't know what to do. And then that's exactly what happens. And once I got that out of my head and started getting around more people that knew how to market, you know, my old coach, the Apex network of people, Ryan Stewman, you know, all these people, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I was complicating it way more than I needed to, which is we all, you know, we overthink and all that. And then I just needed to be consistent. And once I figured that out, like, look, it's not that difficult. People need to know you exist, and you got to keep telling them over and over and over again. And you're not bothering people. And if people unfollow you, good. They weren't going to sign up with you anyway. So you know, don't waste your time with that. So all those, you know, it's all these little pieces along the way that slowly helped me build some momentum to get to a point where, okay, now I feel comfortable doing this. Now it's like just another part of my day that's ingrained in what I do because I want to help people.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And because I want to help people, I need to do everything I can to get in front of more people.
Yeah, I think the magic too of that too is, you know, yeah, you got coaches, but they worked as a supplement to a foundation you already had because you were owning that process. Like you knew it was up to you, but these people were here to help you versus I think a lot of times people go through hiring someone as like save me, like my ship's sinking to the bottom of the ocean. Then,
Yeah.
you know, they don't pull them out of the depths of the ocean and it's their fault. Right. And I share that because I went through that when I hired my first online coach. You know, went through building everything. I'm brand new. I don't know shit about online. You know, I'm a trainer. I'm like, dude, I just want to help people train. I'm like, I wasn't owning those other parts. And, you know, I spent a lot of money with this coach, a lot of time, didn't get the result. And for the longest time, I blamed that coach. I was like, it was his fault. right? That I'm not where I want to be. Where the truth was, that was 100% my fault, right? I didn't own the parts that I needed to own. I was hiring out of the wrong reason, and I wasn't even clear on what I was looking for, right? Like, think about how long it takes just to get clear. Like, what do I do and who do I do it for? And then if you hire someone when you're not clear on that and you're not owning, like, here's what I'm about and what I do, they don't know how to help you either.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so I think about that too. Like, if you're looking at getting help, whether it's in marketing or sales or, getting better at just training, whatever that may be, make sure you're owning your part in that. Because at the end of the day, whether that person delivers or not, you're stuck with the bill of having to get the result. So rewire your mindset to go, I'm going to find a way to win regardless of how this works, and hedge your bets.
Yeah, and that ties in with just having a business mindset. And I think for you coaches out there, you have to think of yourself as, I'm a business owner in the fitness industry, not I'm a trainer who owns a gym. Like and it's a word track, and I get it, it's semantics, but you start switching that thing around and you think of yourself as a business owner. And it makes such a huge difference in the way that you approach things. And it kind of, to me, it expands your mind to other possibilities. How else can I monetize this? How else can I be profitable? Like, we got to make a profit. If you own brick and mortar, you're paying rent to someone. So you got to make sure you're bringing in enough money to cover that, cover all your bills, and then actually pay yourself something. But the same thing goes for you guys who are only online. Like, if that's all you do is your online business, your overhead's super low. Trust me, I know. But you still want to turn a profit. So you can't think of yourself as, oh, I'm just an online trainer. No, no, no. You're a business owner who runs an online coaching business. And you think of it that way, and you're like, oh, okay. Again, how can I monetize this? How can I make it more profitable? How can I add more value to my clients so I can get more clients? How can I systemize things? What can I outsource? Like, all those things are something that the average coach isn't thinking about, because all they want to do is help people. Well, awesome.
Here's the thing, like, we weren't built to be broke. Like, it's not like, hey, you're born, get ready to have an average, mediocre fucking life, just making
Forever.
just enough to get by. Like, it's not how this thing works, but we get programmed over time into thinking that. And, this is me going back to the whole corporate system, which is like, hey, you're never going to make it on your own. Take this little per session rate I'm going to give you and be a good boy. And I'll make sure you're safe and you're fed with clients and you can keep helping people. But then you're never actually making a life for yourself. And you're not getting what you're worth. So at the end of the day, like, you deserve to get paid what you're worth. You're going to hear me say that 1,000 times on this episode. If you follow me, I say at least once or twice a day, because you need to hear that shit, because nothing's going to change until you give yourself permission and then fucking own it.
Yep. Yep. You got it. Yeah, listen, you just have to adopt that ownership mindset, or you'll be sending out an email like homegirl saying, well, I'm really passionate about it, but I just didn't like being an owner. Which, again, if that's her path, I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying, if you want to run a business, then run a business like a business person. And quit.
If you really want it, you'll find a way. If it truly is your passion, and go, this is what God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, made me to be, I'm going to find a way to do this. Because if you're willing to go, it isn't for me, I'm going to switch industries, you ain't built for this. It takes a special kind of person to persevere through that. And that's where that passion and grit comes into, like, this is my purpose. It's in a job. This is like what I do. It's my way of life.
Amen. Amen. Now I'm all fired up. Now I want to go start another business. Let's do it. you and me, air fryers, John. Let's do it.
Absolutely, man. Be Fry Guys. Fry Guys.
I can see the infomercials now. I can see.
Dude, we'd nail it, dude. I'm pretty sure. Hey, if you guys would subscribe to that, let us know in the comments. That'd be pretty sweet. We get enough attention, we may make that happen for you.
I love it. Anyway, so I hope you guys got some value out of this. If you need help, reach out. That's what we're here for. We love helping coaches get what they're worth. Earn more, have a business they love and love showing up for, which means you get to help more people. And that's kind of the name of the game. I know that's why most of us got into this. Nobody got into it going, I'm going to make $1 million. Like, you can, but I'm pretty sure that's not why most of you got into this. So,
right.
Do what you can, control what you can, reach out for help. And we'll catch you on the next episode. So until then, John, hit him with the tagline, baby.
One more time. As always, don't forget to go get what you're worth. Yeah. damn good show.